What's happening? What's happening? How you darn? How you darn? The combine is officially started. Now look, if you're an NFL connoisseur, you're probably excited about watching the defensive linemen and, doing their thing. But if you're a dynasty person, you're probably like, all right, this is an appetizer. Can we get to the main meal yet? And that will be not tomorrow, but the day after. But it'll be well worth the wait. Thanks for joining us. Sorry?
I mean, I've been watching it. It's been fun, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'll watch it if it's punters out there. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, I thought so far it's been great. I freaking love it.
Yes, this is a leap year stream. Obviously, we wouldn't be like today, February 29th. We wouldn't be streaming in the next 3 years. We can't do this again.
We can't do this again. We actually can't. Anyone born in the leap year? One of our good friends, JB. He's currently 8 years old. Shout out to JB. Probably not gonna watch it. He's sleeping.
No, he's not gonna. He doesn't watch it, and that's okay. What's up, Mad Hats? Welcome in. What's up, Waffle Boy? Madison released. Ty Chandler, manager, stand up. Yeah, it was funny because the coaching staff had good things to say about Ty Chandler during this week of interviews, and they didn't even mention Madison. So. Madison's gone. I do not think this means Chandler's about to break out, but I mean, he could. I think this means they're definitely going to add running backs to that room this offseason, whether it's the draft or free agency. What's up, Brandon? He says, congratulations, Badaki.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
Peyton was good. Maddie Lowe was good. Casey says, when you're in the middle of watching the Don't Cut episode and rudely get interrupted by an alert of a live Fantasyland stream, I'll allow it. You'll love to see it.
You'll love to see it.
I just realized I didn't do something and I was about to do it, but now I can't remember. Man, do you ever have that? You're like, you literally think of it and 1 second later you're like, wait, what did I just think about?
Oh, that's my life at the moment.
My brain is scrambled eggs right now. But we are going to be, we're not doing a Q&A today, so I'm sorry if you guys have any of those specific questions. Today's stream is going to be revolving around helping people who have supported us on the Flock Fantasy website. Badaki, if people want their team reviewed today, if they want to sign up for this process, how can they go about doing that?
Yeah, guys, all you have to do is sign up at flockfantasy.com and use our promo code LAND. Once you get that, we'll send you a message and we'll get you all set up to get your Dynasty team reviewed. Once you get your Dynasty team reviewed, all you have to do is go to roster submissions, put your team with all the details, all the context, and then once that is, I guess, quote unquote, gone through and approved, then your team will be on a live stream like this right now. So once again, use our promo code LAND, get 30% off at sign up. Send us a message. We'll send you a message as well. And we'll get you all set up by you submitting your roster in the roster submissions tab on our Discord. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll give you personalized advice, just like you're going to be seeing here. And with so much more, not only do you get to grade, you get your Dynasty team graded, but you get the 2024 Rookie Report. You get a premium calculator, a personal DM with Zach and myself, not to only get your team reviewed. Maybe you have other Dynasty leagues. Maybe you want us to review that. You can get that in the Fantasy Hotline as well, and so much more. So once again, flockfantasy.com, use promo code LAND, and that's how you can get your team reviewed here in the next couple streams.
Alrighty. Do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. We have our first review of the day, and it is Maddie Lowe.
Maddie Lowe.
And let's have a geeze at what he sent us here. First off, thank you, Maddie, for the support. Appreciate you for signing up and becoming a member. This is a 10-man SuperFlex start 10, half PPR, no tight end premium. His team name is Rub My Chub.
Rub my chub.
He says,
I fucking love it. Oh, sorry.
Hey,
family-friendly stream.
This is a family-friendly stream. And you've got a child now, all right?
I actually have a child. I mean, yeah.
Wake up. All right.
It needs to be better.
He says, hey, what's up, guys? I've been watching your content for about 2 months and just joined the Mother Flocker tier. I am new to Dynasty Leagues, as are most people in the league I'm posting. The top guy has been in Dynasty Leagues for a while, and I want to start making a push in the league and hopefully knock him off. Let's do it. He says, the group of guys I'm in the league with are all close friends. We used to be in a redraft league, but started up a Dynasty league 2 years ago. Sounds like my friends. And then my friends couldn't commit to a Dynasty league. So shout out to them. Freaking bastards. Oh, family-friendly stream. I'm sorry. We're working on it.
Family-friendly stream.
He says, the first year of the Dynasty league, I made it to the bowl. Love it. This past year, I was around 500 mark and couldn't get over the hump, but then decided I should try and get a good draft position since I was going to miss the playoffs. I feel like my team has great assets, but is missing a true number one wide receiver, like a JJ, Chase, or CD. I have the 102. The league member with the 101 didn't pay his league dues, and the commission decided he gets a pick taken away, which bumps me up to the 102. And I have the 103. Wait, so you already had the 102. Please tell me they're not taking away his 101. Because that would be crazy. I mean, I get it. Like,
pay his dues.
I get it. You got to get your dues in on time, but you can't be taking the guy's 101 away if that's what you're saying.
It sounds like he didn't even pay. So, like, what happens if he doesn't pay? That's a different story.
Like. If he didn't pay for last year or, yeah.
It just sounds like he didn't pay his dues and he still wants to be in the league. Maybe he has financial situation. Sorry, brother. Then we have to compensate some way. Maybe that's a pick.
Could Anyways. Be. He says, my quarterback room is also thin. Just Josh Allen and Derek Carr. Was offered T-Law for Devonta Smith. Accepting this trade and possibly drafting Caleb could set my quarterback room up for the long haul. Let's talk about that. SuperFlex League. Start 10. I am definitely T-Law over Smith in a SuperFlex League. I would be shocked if anyone in a startup took Smith over Trevor Lawrence.
Agreed.
So definitely take the T-Law side. Agree. However, I'm wondering if there are better trades I could make instead of getting T-Law. I'm not too attached to any players on my team. I want to see if there are other good options out there for trades and become a top contending team. Thank you for all you guys do. You're killing it with content. That is awesome. Like, let's just start here. Like, we'll talk about other options, but what I will say is this is a very good deal for you in a Superflex format. Again, think about a startup. It's not that we don't like Devonta Smith, but is he even like a top 15 wide receiver off the board? I would say right now consensus is maybe, maybe not. Trevor's definitely going in the first 2 rounds of a startup. 100%.
Right. So
to me, like just value in a super flex league, I think Trevor is the value there. But we will talk about options for sure in a second. So the team name is Rub My
Chub here.
And it... You know, he mentioned in the context that there's only one guy who's played Dynasty before. It's very obvious because one guy's ranked 99 out of 100. No one else is in the 70s.
Yeah.
Everyone else is 60s, 50s. Someone's a 38. Oh, Lord, help this man. So, obviously, one guy was very, into Dynasty. Your friend started a league and... probably exactly what I would have done. Took advantage of some people that he loves.
And this is why people don't pay their dues.
Walk us through the team here. Superflex, 10 team, no tight end premium, half PPR.
So, quarterback, Josh Allen, Derek Carr. If that offer's still on the table, I think we would definitely take it to get Trevor Lawrence. But at the same time, you do have the 103, so
no. So sorry, just to clarify, I don't want to jump in and interrupt, but we know this 103 is going to be the 102.
Sorry,
that's what he was talking about.
Excuse me. So yes, we do know you have one of the top 2 picks here in this draft. So either way, I'm really happy for you to get Trevor Lawrence and maybe draft a Marvin Harrison Jr. But we'll get into that once we get into the information later. So yes, Josh Allen, Derek Carr, not the strongest of the quarterback rooms here. But definitely
clear pathway to improve it.
Yeah, clear pathway to improve. The running back position, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, Joe Moneybags, Keaton Mitchell, Chuba Hubbard, who by the way is the number 1 guy apparently in Carolina.
Saw that, and I'm not sure I would wholeheartedly believe and bank on that right now.
I completely agree. Okay. I just thought that was funny because he said that and I was like, what? Anyways, J.K. Dobbins, who we just saw a video of as well, and then the rest down.
It's a good running back room, man.
Here.
Really
it's good. Not a bad running back room whatsoever. Kyron Williams took off. Kenneth Walker obviously still did his thing. Joe Moneybag Mixon still finishes the top 10 running back this past year, and if he does stay with the Bengals, I think that continues, or he can find a new home. It's not a bad running back room whatsoever. We could potentially pivot in different ways if we wanted to an upgrade. Just all depends on how we can do that. Looks like you can start up to 5 wide receivers in this league. 3 wide receivers start, 2 flex. So about 5 wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Jackson Smith and Jigba, T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, and then John Mechie and Sky Moore. So I think the depth at the moment with your wide receiver room is not bad at all. You technically have 7 wide receivers we feel comfortable in starting and we hope are going to continue to do something good.
6, I'd say.
6. Okay. Who would be the odd man out for you, Christian?
Well, I'm counting 6 with Christian. Mechie and Sky Moore make 7, 8.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. 6. So I did count 1 too many. But yes. That's anyways. Good. So let's get into it.
And then he's got McBride Pitts. I mean, yeah. So
yeah. I mean,
I would say overall, this is not a bad
team whatsoever.
This is a good team. Like we're in a good spot. And I personally, Badaki, I'm taking the Trevor Lawrence trade right now. Like before that trade escapes my inbox, I'm hitting accept. I'm not saying you have to do it right now as we're on the live stream, but that's how I would operate because that actually gives me the ability at the 102 to go either way. If Caleb's there, great. I'll go best player available in Caleb Williams. Hey, if Marvin is there and I already have Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, and Derek Carr, I feel very good about going out and adding a Marvin Harrison Jr. with that pick. So I would take the trade.
I agree. So if I'm reading this correctly, Boutte Liquors, Team 1, he has the 102, which I'm assuming is the 101. Remember that pick got taken away.
How in the hell does this guy get the 101? And how did that happen in this league?
I don't know if is correct because if you look at Team 7,
no, it is. Look, he had this team number 1 has the 110. That's his pick. He won the championship. He has the 102 because someone made a dumb trade and gave him the 2nd overall pick. Basically, is what it seems like. I wonder what team that is. It's probably the guy up right here at the bottom. Remember, A-Rich was down last year. Yeah. Eckler was awful. Diggs was awful to end the year. Keenan was injured. Dallas Goedert was injured. I bet you this guy. It was one of them. It was one of them.
Well, if we are correct, then that 102 is technically the 101. I don't see how this player or this team, this owner, is not going to be taking Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 101. He has Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy. I mean, yeah, you can get a Caleb Williams here, and you're just going to boost your quarterback room even more. But you can boost your wide receiver room and just continue to get stronger in that position. So I'm not necessarily sure if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be there.
If I'm Team 1, I'm looking at this draft and I'm saying I could go any way I want. I know I have all these quarterbacks, but I run this league. If I want Marvin, I'll take him. If I want Caleb, I'll take him. But the good news for me is that it sounds like your league is going to continue to try and invest into Dynasty and get better at being Dynasty football players, which means that they will understand values overall. So guess what? If we get Trevor Lawrence and we also draft Caleb Williams, that's fine. What if both of those players hit and then we can trade Josh Allen for an absolute haul, including a superstar wide receiver, right?
Sure.
Or, let's say Caleb Williams doesn't work out necessarily. Well, we have Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence. They're going to carry our teams moving forward. At the end of the day, you want 3 names that you feel good about in a SuperFlex league, specifically a 10-man. But I feel like those heavy hitter names, I want those heavy hitter names on my team. So, in my opinion, I don't think you can go wrong with whatever player falls to you. Caleb, Marvin, that's fine. But I'm taking that Trevor Lawrence deal, and I'm starting to build around the places that matter. We're already good at running back. Our wide receiver room will take a hit without Smith. But also, if you take that deal, you take the Trevor Lawrence deal, you can look at potentially moving back if Marvin isn't there. Let's say you guys have a slow draft. Well, hey, Caleb's off the board or Marvin's off the board. Hey, what team could use a Caleb Williams? Well, the guy who has Sam Howell as his quarterback 2 could. The guy who's about to lose Trevor Lawrence because he's sending him to you could. The guy who has Baker as his quarterback 2 could. The guy who has Matthew Stafford as his quarterback 2 and Bennett as his quarterback 3 could use a quarterback. The guy who's got Aaron Rodgers and Kenny Pickett that he's relying on could use Caleb Williams. You know, all of a sudden you're in a position where you have a lot of flexibility in the trade market. So I definitely, again, take Trevor, and then we'll, you know, use that picks as
reassess.
flexible.
Yeah. I'm okay with that as well there with the 102. Looking through the team here, I think, you know, whether you get Caleb, whether you get Marvin Harrison Jr. is also, you know, instantly going to boost here. And I think I personally feel like you just go best player available moving forward. Now, we can do some different trades when it comes down to maybe trading away a running back or trading away a wide receiver, or maybe pivoting in different ways. But at the moment, I think I'm going to be staying put everywhere else personally outside of one player. And this is a player that, you know, I went through all my dynasty leagues. I put him on the trade block, and that is Jalen Waddle. Okay. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just throwing out an idea. You know, Jalen Waddle obviously didn't have the best year, dealt with injuries, and I think we just continue to see, which feels like the quote-unquote regression in production with Tyreek Hill being there. And if he's going to be there for the next 2 to 3 years with that contract with Tua, which I believe in Tua, nothing has to do with Jalen Waddle or Tua, just because I just don't believe he's going to get the production and the targets that we potentially hope and see.
Well, in year 1 of that combo, it felt like it was a true 1A, 1B, obviously in favor of Ole Miss. But this year, it was like so far towards Tyreek, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, and the only reason why I bring this up is because can I pivot to something else? You know, like, can I pivot to get a DJ Moore? Can I pivot to get maybe a Nico Collins? I would even say a Chris Olave, and I don't even love the quarterback play. You know, like, can I get a Brandon Ayuk, which I think you do have, if I'm not mistaken, already.
Okay. So you talked about you are sending away Waddle, and remind me the names that you're mentioning here.
DJ Moore, I think, is the first big one I would definitely try and pivot to.
Do you think you could get more than DJ Moore? Let's look at community rankings here. Because community would have Waddle over DJ. That's cool. We finally got that update, Badaki.
Yeah.
You see that? It shows my wide receiver 8, wide receiver 14. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. So community would have Waddle over DJ. I think the most you're going to get is a second in return. Mm-hmm. But I'd be willing to do that personally.
Yeah, and in reality, this is the only move I think I would potentially be exploring. I still believe in Devonta Smith. I still believe in Brandon Ayuk. And I would even say, look, the conversation could be said with Devonta Smith, where it was really heavily targeted to A.J. Brown. Can you pivot off of Devonta Smith as well?
Well, we already got that Trevor Lawrence deal.
With Trevor Lawrence, yeah, you're right.
You know, a couple people mentioned in the chat. Styles talked about it. Scribbles talked about it. People are really hating on T-Law. I mean, look, we said this. Like, if you guys are in a startup, a SuperFlex startup, who's going first, Trevor or Smith? I think Trevor's going first by at least a round, you know?
More than that,
so
maybe 2.
Yeah, you take that deal. That's instantly going to improve your quarterback room. We got Mason in the chat. He says, hell yeah, happy to see the trade calculator update is working. We are too. That is awesome, that is an awesome feature. Site is improving every single month. Style says T-Law goes second round. Devonta's likely fall into the 5th. Smash accept. I agree. But yeah, so you talked about pivoting off of Waddle. DJ Moore is a name that you and I agree on. We're higher on DJ Moore than consensus. DJ Moore in a second round pick, if you can get that done, obviously that is something that you would pursue. The other names that you talked about, did you say Nico?
I threw Nico out there. Yeah, Nico Collins is somebody I'll be really interested in trying to acquire there with CJ Stroud in the quarterback position.
You and I are much higher on Nico than consensus. I figured that out recently. I wonder if we can use the 203. We can't add that, but let's say early second and Waddle to get like Nico in someone's first. I'd be very curious if that's possible. Who has Nico Collins in this league? Can we find that out? Where is Nico? We are all in on Nico.
Team 1 has Nico.
Oh, is it Team 1?
It's Nico and Tank. He has
the guy who's dominating.
He also has DJ Moore. Oh no,
this guy just has a freaking chokehold over this league.
Oh no!
Wow, yeah, that's impressive. All right. Well, why don't we look? I don't think it's going to be possible. This guy knows what he's doing, obviously. But why don't we look at some names then from teams that, hey, maybe it is possible. Y'all know I love me some Rashee Rice. I would pivot off of Waddle to Rice if you can get something in return as well. So let's put the name Rice up there. And what is an asset from this guy's team that we could grab? I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed to like a JT Ken Walker pivot either, Badaki. I feel more confident in Jonathan Taylor. Now this doesn't. Okay. This is just like a 1-for-1, so you're not really like getting any insulated value. But another idea there. Let's try and find one where we get value that that holds up long term. Like for example, could we grab this guy's first in 2025 and send him our 203, for example, in this deal, right? Those are the kind of deals we're trying to to structure.
Okay. I get what you're saying there.
So give me your 2025 first. And is this a deal we can get done? Hey, some leagues, yes. But as we always say in our streams, our goal is to give you inspiration. Our goal is to get your foot in the door, not to give you a list of all the deals that will be approved by every single owner in every league, right? Get your foot in the door. Is there any other deal here you wanted to talk about for that pivot?
The only other player I want to throw out there would probably be Drake London.
I like
now, that. I wonder where the community has Drake London valued at the
15
moment.
Right now.
Okay. I think that is something that you can definitely get done. Because I think there's still a lot of question marks in the quarterback position. A lot of people don't believe in the Justin Fields and the rumors that he goes there. If Justin Fields goes there, is he going to get better? Or Drake London going to get better? I don't know. But, I mean, I think we've seen that, and he's kind of proven that with DJ Moore personally.
So Team 6 has Drake London. By the way, his team name is Drake Partying in London, which means he might have a love for this player. But Drake London is a pivot. For me, it would be a 25 first that we got to get involved there in the 203. Same structure as a previous deal. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree there as well.
So let's try and get your first, and we'll give you our early second. That's the kind of pivot moves we're trying to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Mason says, can y'all tell Zach and Badaki to use dark mode? Man, I don't know. What mode do you use, Badaki?
I think it really depends on the page.
Oh, really? Each page can go different?
I think each page is very different. I think when, sometimes dark mode is easier for trade calculator, but if I'm reading something, I feel like the light mode is easier. Personally,
yeah.
So it just all depends. Like when I look at rankings, I feel like the dark mode is easier.
You like the dark mode better?
Because I think once saying it sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's not. I don't know. It's just all preference on settings. I constantly change mine.
I hear you. No, I don't know why I'm a light mode guy. It's funny because on Sleeper, if someone's light mode, I'm like, what are you doing? But on our site, I'm like, no, I like light mode. It feels right. But all right. That is the type of pivot we're trying to make. Again, if you can use Waddle and get into that tier, and why don't I give him a list of tiers where it's like you send your second, get there first next year. Let me say like a tier of wide receiver for me that would include DJ Moore, Nico Collins, Rashee Rice, Pittman, Ayuk, Dell. You already have JSN on your team, but Higgins, London, you talked about Badaki. I would do it for Zay and probably Addison as well. Same page?
Yeah, same page.
But overall, you've got a good team. I mean, I would be very interested in seeing what I could get for Joe Mixon in your league. I don't think you necessarily need Joe Mixon, and I think we could all agree his timeline, if it's not this year, is still a year-by-year basis. Same thing we said about Dalvin Cook last year. It's a year-by-year basis. At any moment, this thing could implode. So if you can get anything around like a second round value, I would definitely take that, for sure, in my opinion.
Completely agree.
But wide receiver room is great. At the 103, like we said, Marvin is totally in play. Malik for me is in play, and Caleb Williams, because remember that's going to be the 102 for you. You talked about that. At the 203, best player available. That's actually the That's actually the 201 in a 10-man when you think about it that way, right?
Yeah, 201
so
in a 10-man.
You're looking McConkey. You're looking at McConkey, a Benson, a Brooks, a Nix, a Penix, a Brian Thomas, Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman. That's the range you're looking at there.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think the rest, you just go best player available at the 303, the 403, whatever that's going to be in your drafts now. After that pick is taken away, it looks like you're going all the way to the 5th round in the rookie drafts as well. So once again, best player available all the way through. And look, you have Trey McBride and Kyle Pitts. Personally, look, I would say one more pivot option.
I know it. I don't think you can pivot from Pitts right now. You can pivot from McBride, but no one is giving you the value you want for Pitts.
Well, this is what I'm saying. You wait and then you pivot.
Okay.
You're right. No one's going to give you the value. No one is going to be saying, yeah, I'll take Kyle Pitts off your hands and here's a top 6 pick.
Yeah.
But if Justin Fields does go on this team, there's going to be so much argument of how successful he has been with the tight end position in the past 2 years with Cole Kmet. And I think if that does happen, I'm willing to trade away Kyle Pitts. I've been a big advocate on saying I'm not necessarily sure if he's going to be returning that top 5 season that we were hoping for when he first came into the league. I think he's still going to be a good tight end, probably just more in the range of tight end 7 to 12, which feels really comfortable for me. So if you can still find somebody that still believes in that top 5 Kyle Pitts, then I'm willing to get some type of good value out of that.
I think he's my tight end 6 right now, as of today. Tight end 6. I still believe in him. Who do you have right behind him,
out of curiosity?
Huh?
Who do you have right behind him, out of curiosity?
Njoku, Kittle, Ferguson, and Kelsey.
Do you have Evan Ingram ahead?
I have Evan Ingram behind him. At tight end 12.
Right.
But he's in that same tier with like the Goddards, the Mayers, the Komets for me.
Yeah.
But look, this is just one of those players Badaki and I are just different on. For me, with Kyle Pitts, I'm not going to hold on to the draft capital. I'm not going to hold on to his historic rookie season. I'm going to hold on to the fact that we have not seen a coach misuse weapons as badly as Arthur Smith has in quite some time. It's been quite some time where 3 years in a row you spend a top 10 pick on a weapon and misuse them. So I'm a big believer in the coaching staff that's about to join this team. I'm a big believer in them recognizing talents and utilizing them properly. And I think, in my personal opinion, that first press conference where the new OC and the new head coach are talking about, the guys are excited about, they said London, they said Bijan. They didn't say Pitts. And people are like, oh no, they're not going to use Kyle Pitts. Oh no, he's not the guy. They have since come out, which that was the headline, but they have since come out and talked about how excited they are to use him in their offense. To me, I think,
I get it.
And last thing I'll say on Pitts, I don't want to ramble, but we are getting spoiled at this point. We're getting spoiled. What Laporta did last year, even what Kincaid did last year, is not common. It's not common for those things to happen. And now we are moving the goalposts as far as what we expect from a tight end young in their career. So I'm still on Pitts. I think this is an offseason to buy him. If next year we're like, hey, he's a bum again, I'll probably be in the same spot. So I'm sorry. I will not give up on Kyle Pitts. In fact, I tweeted out about this mid-season. I said David Njoku is the reason I will never give up on Kyle Pitts. David Njoku, freak athlete, first round pick. When was the production ever going to be there? Last year it finally came together. So anyway, we got a super chat, by the way, from LT Gray.
We did. First of all, appreciate the super chat. It said, Dan Badaki back already. Dynasty got the worst paternity leave in the U.S. Good thing we're not in the U.S. What?
In the U.S.? Oh, paternity leave. Yeah, I gave him 2 weeks.
I tried to stretch it out a little bit longer, but I didn't want Zach to take over, essentially.
I wouldn't have taken over. But thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. By the way, Landon says never made this live. Always listen to this in the morning on the way to work. You guys are my favorite streamers. Appreciate you big time.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
All right, Maddie Lowe, we want to hear from you. What questions do you have?
Yeah. He was in the chat.
Thanks. If I was to move off of Kyle Pitts, my goal would be adding to the wide receiver room. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if that was the case, most people do use keep trade cut. So let's look at what like an equivalent in their system, no tight end premium. I want to see what the equivalent name is right now. Of course, you and I just talked about it. When a quarterback comes in, Kyle Pitts' value will go up inevitably when people can visualize who his quarterback is going to be. Where is he? He's tight end 7. The names around him are Deebo Samuel, Jaden Reed, Pickens, Adams, Diggs. I imagine when a wide receiver or when a quarterback, I mean, if it's Cousins, it'll skyrocket. But I think the Zays, the Higgins, the Metcalfs, the Reeds, those are the names I'm trying to pivot to if I am pivoting off of him.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. For players, what's Kyle Pitts' value in a pick perspective?
Let's see based off our community.
Because I feel like that's so difficult to really get understanding, at least in my perspective, to understand where Kyle Pitts. I feel like anything higher than, if I'm in a 12-team starter, this is 10-team. So like in a 10-team or 12-team, anything higher than the 108.
The 109 is what I felt. So they're saying the 109 is more valuable. Man, he could really be a buy at this point.
That's what I'm saying. So like he's 109, wow. 109 right now.
Okay, Kyle Pitts is a buy. 112. That's a 10-man though.
It is a 10-man. I mean, I would.
So it's gonna be tough to sell Kyle. This is what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Might not be the right time. What does keep trade cut say though? What would they put? Oh, see, we can't customize this calculator. That's the issue. We can't tell them that it's a 10-man. No.
What's more options? There's more options drop down.
They say Kyle Pitts is more valuable. No, they don't have that kind of customization that we do.
All right, okay.
So anyway,
yeah.
Pitts could be a pivot if things happen at quarterback. We have a question from Maddie. He says, I'm just wondering if I take T-Law, do I try to take a player like JJ for the 102 and a player to a team that needs a quarterback like you mentioned? Absolutely. That's a great pivot. You talked about Justin Jefferson. So this team who has Justin Jefferson has Sam Howell as his quarterback too. He's going to need a quarterback. So that is another great pivot option. I mean, let's talk about the structure of a deal there. You receive Justin Jefferson. They receive the 102. I don't think you get that deal done straight up, but Badaki, if you get that deal done straight up, you take it and you walk.
Yeah, absolutely. And just see what happens. And you have T. Law, you have Josh Allen, and
Carr's your third.
And you're chilling at the quarterback position, and you tiered up tremendously at the wide receiver position. And I'm pretty sure you probably want to get someone like Marvin Harrison Jr., but Justin Jefferson is proven with or without Kirk Cousins there, he is going to be of value and still be the number 1 wide receiver.
Team 5, is also an option here. They do not have a solidified QB2. You couldn't really say they even have a QB1. I think Caleb Williams could be very attractive to them. Can I get Lamb or Jamar Chase for the same offer? You and I would both do that, right? With this team?
Yeah, I would definitely both do that there.
Okay.
No question.
I like it.
No question.
So those are the options that you've got. Maddie, we'll give you 30 seconds here to ask us any questions that you got. And you've got your hotline, of course, but we want to make sure that you feel good about the team review, that all your answers, all your questions have been answered. And great team, though. I mean, you're in a great spot.
Yeah. Completely
but
agree, man. Great job.
While we are waiting on any questions, we want to let you guys know if you want to become a Mother Flocker member and get your team reviewed, just like Maddie just did, become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I just put a direct link in the chat. When you sign up, go to account, link your Discord, and then you should unlock all of our premium Discord channels, which you see just here. Roster submissions tab is the one that you'll be looking at. So Maddie is good to go. We're on to the next supporter here, which is Zach Shade. So let's have a look at his sleeper ID here. And we will pull up the context of his team as well. Go ahead, Badaki.
Yes, one quarterback, tight end premium, start 9 PPR. Says I have the 101, going to take Marv. I feel pretty good about my wide receiver room with Marvin. I obviously need running backs and have 5 firsts next year in a running back heavy draft with multiple probably going to be high. Wanted to hear your thoughts on what you think I should do going forward. Thanks for the help putting out great content. We appreciate you, Zach. Once again, one quarterback, tight end premium, start 9. Let us know if you are in the chat. His team name is the Avengers.
3 wide receivers, 2 flex.
Yes, 3 wide receivers, 2 flex. So you can start up to 5 wide receivers here. And I'll go straight into it if you are ready.
So Avengers, he's ranked 5th in his league.
Yes, ranked 5th in the league. And it feels... actually is not balanced whatsoever. Thanos literally is Thanos.
Yeah, this is another one of those leagues with a top heavy owner. This might be a friend group or something where everyone wanted to get into a dynasty league. Someone had more experience than everyone else. I mean, what do you do? I'm sorry though. Like, I don't want to be negative, but
you're in the middle of the blimp and you have no hope.
Thanos snapped his finger, and you guys are all in the blip right now.
This is exactly what's happening.
You all disintegrated.
You're still trying to figure out how to come back, how to get your family back, and it's going to be years.
You're trying to figure out time travel. Guys, this guy's wide receiver 3 is Puka Nacua. His wide receiver 4 is Garrett Wilson. His RB3 is Ken Walker. His quarterback 3 is Kyler Murray. His tight end 2 is Trey McBride.
Who got the Ukadukes here? Who's the... What happened there?
I benched Zach Moss is the name of this team. He's got Daniel Jones and Sam Howell and Russell Wilson.
I don't think he had a starting quarterback at one point in time.
Zach is here in the chat with us. Let's do our best. I don't want to sound negative, but I would not be very excited if I was anyone in this league outside of Thanos. But look, we are going to do our best to help you here.
2025 looks exciting here if somehow we can even this out potentially. This is one quarterback.
Let's start with the quarterback room. Stroud, Rodgers, O'Connell. We feel good about that in a 1 quarterback league, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have your foundation. A lot of people's consensus QB3 in leagues or in the community at the moment. CJ Stroud is your foundational quarterback. That is fine. You set and forget, and you have decent depth there with Aaron Rodgers and Aiden O'Connell. Running backs, Tajay Spears, Kendre Miller, Son Tucker, Dwayne McBride. Yes, this is probably the weakest. But at the same time, you still have really good upside with Tajay Spears and Kendre Miller. A lot of things have to go right, though.
In a league where I'm betting on next year's class, this is exactly the type of running back room I want. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have wanted to invest in running backs at this point if I was this guy's team.
And if they pan out the way they do with Tajay and Kendre Miller, you can flip him at some point in time if you are not competing at some point in the season. Maybe you're in week 10 and you know you're not going to make the playoffs and Tajay is a top 15 running back. What can you get for him at that point in time, right? So definitely keep that. And the same thing can be said with Kendre Miller. At the wide receiver position, remember you can start 5. Jalen Waddle, Jordan Addison, T. Higgins, Jackson Smith, and Jigba are essentially your top 4
and Marvin is
wide receivers. Oh, and Marvin's coming in. You're right.
So Marvin, Waddle, Addison, Higgins, JSN. That's a good 5.
Yeah, it's not a terrible 5. The depth is not there. You do have some high upside. Demario Douglas with the new quarterback coming in. You can potentially say the same thing with Marvin Mims as
Well,
well.
yeah. Did you see Sean Payton?
Yeah.
I find the Marvin Mims discourse so funny because every month Sean Payton's like, man, we should really get that guy more involved. Man, every time he touches the ball, he's pretty good. It's like, if only we could find someone responsible. You know, if only we could
put him on the field, Sean.
It's like what's that show on Netflix where the guy's in the hot dog suit? I think you should leave. He's like, we're all trying to figure out who did it, guys. That is Sean Payton right now. But yeah, and also, by the way, apparently Rashad Bateman's going to break out this year.
When I saw that, I was like, my guy.
I don't believe you. I'm sorry, I don't believe you.
I'm pretty sure he said that. I think I saw a tweet of somebody like like putting it back to back, saying
compilation,
yeah, compilation of how, you know, the head coach was talking about Rashad Bateman in high regards every single year, and saying that like he's going to improve year in and year out. Like next year's gonna be the year. Next year's gonna be the year. He's gonna break out. He said the same shit again this year. It's just funny. Anyways,
I agree. And
miss you, Rashad Bateman.
Maybe next year it'll be the same thing.
Maybe. You never know.
Anyway, it's a good wide receiver room. You've got Kincaid, Mayer, Jordan. I mean, you're good at tight end too. So let's start here. You've got some pillars. You got a young team. There is no old heads on this team you need to move on from. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, but let's be honest, in a one quarterback league, what is Aaron Rodgers really going to give you in return? Mm-hmm. If you can get a second round pick in any year, you take it, but I don't know that you would. But Rodgers is there. That's fine. Tajay Kindray, that's fine. Look at all the 25 firsts you have in next year's class. Love that. And who are they from? Chicken Time? Where's Chicken Time ranked? Chicken Time is
7. I think. Yeah, 7.
7. Fantasy
he has a lot of his picks
Boys
this year.
Is 10th ranked. My Uncle's Keeper and Prestige Worldwide are all below you as well. So yeah, you could have some potentially very valuable picks next year in a class that is stacked at running back. This could be a 1-year turnaround.
Oh, 100%. I think a lot of these teams are going to look different. I mean, even you look at Chicken Time, who has the 101, or the 102, 107, 104, 108, 110. Like, their team's going to look different, especially with the top-heavy wide receiver class here. They need wide receivers.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, I think a lot of teams are going to be looking different. This league is going to look different, completely different. Next year in 2025, your team's going to look completely different with, what was it, 4 25 firsts?
Mm-hmm.
I think you kind of stick and pick here, and I would just echo the same thing that I said with Maddie in our last review was, what can I pivot off of Jalen Waddle? I don't have to if you don't want to, but I think the same names will be there. DJ Moore, the Nico Collins, the Rashee Rices, just based off of the quarterback play, and somebody that maybe we feel a little bit more comfortable can be more a solidified wide receiver one. I mean, if you think about it, Jalen Waddle is technically a wide receiver one on this team before Marvin Harrison comes on, right? Maybe it's Jordan Addison. T. Higgins gets a franchise tag.
Let's talk about those names that we were happy to pivot off of Waddle from. So we're trying to get a 2025 first plus one of the names below. And you might have to send Jalen Waddle and a second to do this. For 25 first, DJ Moore, Rashee Rice, Nico Collins, you know, what's that list of, so they have this if they want to come back to the stream. What were the names?
Rice, Nico, Tank,
Pittman.
DJ Moore, Pittman. I like Brandon Ayuk as well.
Ayuk for sure. He says I have an offer for Waddle for 105 second next year, which should be the 2-1 and the third. If I'm not mistaken, he used a hotline for this one, and I said for me the 105 isn't enough in a one quarterback league to send Waddle away.
What's the 105 in one quarterback?
That's
Marvin,
like
Neighbors
after a doomsday. It's like betting on Brian Thomas or Franklin.
Right.
And I'd rather just keep Waddle.
Yeah, who has the 104? Can we sneak into the 104? I mean,
to
do they
get.
need?
Well, then you're stuck with Bowers or a Dunze. I'd prefer a Dunze. This isn't a.
Chicken Time
This
has
is
the
a time
104. He has
premium.
no wide receivers.
Yeah. So.
I mean, that could be something I'll be interested in because he has the 102, which he's probably going to take Malik.
But I
Who
want a
has the
Dunze if I'm trying to get off of Waddle,
Waddle?
which would probably have to be the 103 because this guy at the 104 is going to take a Dunze if he's there.
Who's the one? Who has 104?
Chicken
Who's
Time.
the guy? Oh, Chicken Time. Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Does he want Waddle over like? Would you want a Dunze over Waddle?
But what
You would.
I'm saying is we don't know if it's going to be Bowers or Dunze at the 104. We need to get the 103.
Yeah, we need to get the 103. So who has the 103? Maybe you can send Waddle and maybe an extra piece. 103, AB Team 4 at CeeDee Lamb. He has a pretty decent team there.
Well, yeah, if you can get the 103 for Waddle, I'm happy with that. That guarantees you Roma Dunze. And guys, look, this happens every time we talk about pivoting a name. People ask us why we hate the player. It's not that we hate any player. All right, it happens when we talk about pivoting off of Olave. It happens when we talk about pivoting off of Waddle. We don't hate any of these players. It's just we believe that their perceived value in the market doesn't match the production that they're going to give us. So we would like to pivot off of names that will give us similar production and add draft capital and bet on different players in different classes. So we don't hate these players, guys. This is how you win in Dynasty, is finding the overvalued players that we like and pivoting to names that are going to give you the same production and get future draft capital. You got to find your wiggle way in those kind of deals. Pivot. But
yeah, Drake London I think was also another name we said there
London
as well. Other than that, I think it just really depends on who you like and what you can get off of Jalen Waddle. I would even I would even say Jordan Addison. Now I don't know the value of Jordan Addison in the community, but I know there's a lot of conversations of who's going to be the quarterback. What if Kirk Cousins doesn't come back? He's already the wide receiver too. We saw him without Justin Jefferson.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I was just thinking about the arguments. We saw the only reason Jordan Addison, quote unquote, had a good season was because Justin Jefferson was down.
Sure.
And when we saw him with Justin Jefferson, you kind of saw the flip just a little bit. He might be a little bit more tight or touchdown dependent. What can you get for Jordan Addison potentially to tier up in a production value going into next year?
So I don't personally think that the community is overvaluing Addison anymore. Like there was a time where he was ranked like wide receiver 12. On Keep Trade Cut, he's wide receiver 22. On Flock Fantasy, he's wide receiver 14.
That's a pretty big jump.
It's a big difference.
Our community.
I think he is more in the 20s for most people. So because like I have seen him in so many sell high trade videos. And everyone on Twitter for a month was like, sell Jordan Addison. So he was probably a tougher name to pivot.
What if he can pivot lower though? What if, would you get a Jaden Reed and more for Jordan Addison, or would you still stick with Jordan Addison out of curiosity?
I would definitely be open to it. I just don't think that deal is out there in most leagues.
Right. Okay. So just a really quick thought process there for you, Zach. If you wanted to, if you didn't believe in Jordan Addison, or you probably have the same concerns, there are names you could potentially pivot to. Once again, like the Jaden Reeds. We can go even lower to. I'm trying to think of a different name. Jaden Reed. Who else can we get? We can go lower to like the Cherries, but that's really too low.
Yeah, I don't want to pivot there. There's not a name that makes sense in a pivot, unfortunately. But
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think this is fairly simple though with the team that he's got. You draft Marvin, and honestly, you might compete this year if Marvin's a superstar year one. If Tajay and Kindre get real roles, you might compete year one. At the 207, I would probably take a shot on a running back there. I know you've got all these picks in 2025, but that's where I would probably target like a Bucky Irving, Benson if he falls, or Brooks, a Corum, Allen, Estime. Ray Davis, one of these names that goes high in the draft.
Jesus. Yeah. I would agree. I completely agree. I mean, once again, great team. I think you're in a good spot there, especially with great future capital. I know this team won. Thanos is literally Thanos with every single stone.
He is.
But you're getting closer and closer to that time machine, I tell you. And you're going to be chilling sooner rather than later. And you're going to have the repeat. You're going to whoop his ass.
You definitely have a good team. And in any normal league, you'd probably be heavily competing. But in this league where you have to face literally Thanos, you're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate.
All right.
Bring back Avengers, huh?
Honestly, Marvel fell off.
That was just a pinnacle of life in that moment. It was.
He said Bowers is going 103.
So 104, but 104
the guy's not selling the 104.
Is not selling the 104.
That means we do not sell Waddle for the 105 and just pivot and just settle, if you will. Also, one quarterback format, those second rounders become less valuable, in my opinion.
Hypothetically, one last thing, and I know once again there's a big hypothetical. What if Brian Thomas goes to a phenomenal landing spot that has an incredible quarterback? What if Brian Thomas Jr. goes to the Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills? Does that change your thought process a little bit?
It really doesn't, no, because see, here's the thing with Brian Thomas. Like, you and I said this all the way back in December. He has a huge range of outcomes. Like, he is so talented. He could be the best wide receiver in this class. That wouldn't surprise us. Really, it wouldn't. Mm-hmm. But he has also a very low floor. He needs to improve as a route runner. He's a freak athlete, but he needs to improve as a route runner. I don't think when we're talking about certain tiers of talents as prospects, we put Waddle and Brian in the same conversation. Personally, I think Waddle is a superior prospect to Brian coming out.
Okay, that's fair. I think I just wanted to bring that up because I do believe one of those wide receivers that we have been seeing, the Brian Thomas, the Xavier Worthies, or the Troy Franklins, even the Lamb McConkeys, if they land with elite quarterback on a top power offense, I think that's when the conversations are going to start coming about trying to pivot.
I hear you there. Waffle says, I have the vibe Brian Thomas is the next Gabe Davis. I do think he's going to be very good. He just needs a little time to develop as a route runner. Like, I'm not going to say Nico Collins timeline. It just depends on when. It just depends on what offense he's in. Because if he can find a role where he is like automatically a clear defined role on a pass heavy offense, he could take off year one. But
the reason why I disagree is because he was already the number 2 behind Malik Neighbors, and we are comparing him to Marvin Harrison Jr., and he produced.
What do you mean?
We're really well. No, I'm saying a lot of people's grades in the fantasy community. It's it's Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and that's really close for a lot of people.
Sure.
And I think for someone like Brian Thomas that did produce really well on next to Malik Neighbors, who we are comparing to the Marvin Harrison Jr. likes, I think we have to give him credit when I think of him going to the next level. I think he is the wide receiver 1. On an offense.
On an offense, I don't disagree that he can be that. I think that's a two-sided coin, though, because the other side of the coin is what sort of production would you have put up if there wasn't Neighbors who everyone had to pay attention to at every moment of every second of every snap, right? Where the defense is double teaming, covering him down deep. You're on the opposite side of the field, So it is a double-sided coin, in my opinion. You're right. Like, hey, he competed with some of the best and he put up big production. What would he have done if he was the number 1 guy? We don't know that. Yeah. Because he does have an elite talent next to him that's garnering a lot of attention. But I'm not anti-Brian. Y'all know this. I mean, you and I were like, in December, we were like, we found the sleeper. And now it's like, no, it's not a sleeper. He's the top 20 pick in the NFL draft. But anyway, and talking about two-sided coins, you said, what if Franklin or Brian goes to the Chiefs? What if they go to Baltimore?
Sure. And once again, I was just bringing up the hypothetical because once that does happen, a lot of people are going to question. I think we're going to see a lot of these mid-tier range wide receivers that we're trying to pivot off of based off value that may not have the best quarterback play, that have shown the elite production. I think it can even go all the way as high, and it may sound crazy, as Garrett Wilson. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is going to be leaving after a year or two, but Troy Franklin went to the Bills with Josh Allen. That's going to be playing for another 6-7 years. I think a lot of people are going to be having those conversations.
I don't think so, because that would tell me that Troy would be the 30th overall pick, the 28th overall pick.
I just think
people are talking about Garrett Wilson top 10. I don't think
you have the hype. I'm just talking about the hype around it, because it was the same thing with the Sky Moore, and it's not. Maybe Garrett Wilson is not the best one, but I can
see that conversation.
Chris
for
Olave,
Waddle, and Franklin.
Exactly, Waddle.
If Franklin goes to like Buffalo, but I would still bet on Waddle. If those conversations happen, for me, I would just start to say, well, Waddle's a buy now.
Sure.
But right now we're perceiving him as a pivot, not someone we don't like, but just as a pivot because of what the community thinks.
And who is a wide receiver technically 2 on the team?
Right? He is, yeah. But to be fair, I mean, look, Waddle.
We're not anti-Waddle. It's just more like we know that
if I have Waddle on my team, I'm not like actively really trying to sell him and concerned. It's just if there's a pivot out there, I'm like, I mean, yeah, you're going to give me Rashee Rice in your first? Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. Who's also with an elite quarterback play for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's basically what I'm trying
Waddle
to say.
missed 3 games. Yeah, I mean, look. Anyway, I want to know if Zach has any questions that we didn't address. Let us know. Guys, you're not moving. Kincaid. Stroud.
Yeah,
and Marvin.
Kincaid, Stroud, Marvin. Everyone else is
fluid.
We are happy to listen to conversations.
You don't have to sell anyone else, but those are the guys you do not sell.
You have wide receiver 2s on your team, respectfully, which are all really good. Waddle, wide receiver 2. Addison, wide receiver 2. T. Higgins, wide receiver 2.
He has one number 1.
Who?
Rashad Bateman. No, I actually do think JSN could become the number 1 there if Lockett is cut. Mm-hmm. I think that offense could run through him.
Yeah.
But you're definitely going to get Marvin. That's your number 1. But yeah, next year's class, I mean, we talked about it on that video. You should. This is a team. If this is your main Dynasty team, you are so excited to watch college football this year. You are thrilled. And you're watching all the running backs. Let me pull out this video.
Ravion Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson's in there for sure.
Quinton Junkins.
This is a list that I put together, and even Ashton Genty from Boise State I didn't add there, but Judkins, Henderson, Singleton, Martinez, Ollie Gordon, Omarion Hampton, Trevor Etienne, Jordan James, Devin Neal, and then add all the names that we don't even know about right now. So
Devin Neal too. Gosh.
Zach says no other questions. Thanks for the advice. Devin Neal would have made this class so much stronger.
You know, thinking about this class now, it's not terrible.
No, it's not. By the way, if Henderson and Neal were in this class,
it's a good class.
Well, it is still a good class, but I'm just saying, like, it could have been an all-time great class. Just depth-wise.
All time. Okay. I was thinking like, depth-wise, it's really good because last year it felt like there was good depth as well, and we were like, okay, something is going to happen. But the more you get to know these players and understand them, the better it felt like it got. It was like, oh my gosh, it's terrible.
And I almost feel like the running back room is like on its head compared to last year. Last year it was like the RB8 could be a starter. That wasn't true. This year it's like, is there a starter? But I actually think there are multiple. So it almost feels like this year's class could be super values at the running back spot. But anyway, Zach says no other questions. Thanks for the advice. Of course, feel free to DM us if you have any other questions.
Appreciate you, man.
And I think we have time for one more.
Yep.
And that's going to be Joe S. for today.
Joe S. here. Pull up his team. Power rankings. I'll go ahead and read the context here if you're ready. Joe S. Team name is Miami Dolphins. Shout out to Miami Dolphins. This is a one quarterback. In Miami, this is a one quarterback, 1 point tight end premium start off draft just completed. I have the 103 and the 105 and the 211 and the 301 in the upcoming rookie draft. I do have picks later in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. I have 10 total draft picks in rookie drafts. What are your thoughts on building this thing into a winner?
Well, first question for me is, what do you mean by that premium? Do you mean that it's a full point, like as in 2 points per reception?
If that's the case, then we know what we're doing with one of those top picks. If that is, I mean, first of all,
I did math wrong the last time we were on 2 point premium tight ends, and people were like, "You're awful at math." I was like, "Guys, I didn't sit down and do it. All right." But in a 2 point premium, why don't I do the correct math here?
Just do correct math.
86 times 2 would be 172. And let's take 239.3 and let's minus and let's add 86, actually, sorry. So Sam Laporta would have scored 325 points in a 2 point premium, which would have been 19 points per game.
302.5, that would have made him the wide receiver 4.
19.1 points per game. There's only 2 running backs who scored more than that in a PPR format. There's only 5 wide receivers who scored more than that in a PPR format. And we know quarterbacks score more. But, I mean, that is more points per game than what Stroud had last year. Herbert, Mahomes, Fields, Goff. So, I mean, watch. I probably didn't even do the math right then. But the point is, tight ends are very valuable in this league.
Completely agree here. So, looking at the rankings, it feels pretty even across the board. There's a pretty good gradient when it comes down to the power rankings, 99, 93, 89, and so on and so forth, which is not too bad. But Joe here is the Miami Dolphins, which is team 11 in the power rankings. So starting off at the quarterback position, Josh Allen, which is a really good solidified quarterback in a 1 quarterback league. You have a heavy hitter. You don't have to worry about it. The running back position, Devon, James Cook, Kendre Miller, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, A.J. Dillon, and the rest. I think this is a pretty strong running back room.
Those top 4 make me really comfortable.
Yeah, you don't really have to do anything here. If I'm not mistaken, two of the running backs that you would want to build around the Devon and James, which is really exciting. Kendre Miller, some high upside.
I just realized why this team is ranked so low. Go ahead to the next thing.
Wide receivers is Cooper Kupp, Romeo Doubs, Quentin Johnston, Alec Pierce, and then it falls off here.
That is, anytime Badaki and I do a startup, we build around quarterbacks. Well, that's SuperFlex. But if we were to do a 1 quarterback startup, we'd be building around wide receivers, and in this sort of premium, tight ends. Really, that is the 2 areas of weakness for this team.
This is a start 9. So
Allen, then Achane, Cook. That's 3.
It's 3 wide receivers, 2 flex, right? That's 5 wide receivers you can technically start.
That's 3. That's 6. Pat is 7. So we also have to start Pierce and Bell. Or
so 2 flex
and Chubb.
So 3 wide receivers and 2 flex, essentially. So we're struggling at the wide receiver position here.
Okay, I don't even know if Brock's going to be available at the 103 in this format.
And that's what I was gonna say. I don't believe that he's gonna be available.
Who has the 103?
That's what I'm trying to find right now. I mean, would he even be available the 10? Yeah, he would.
Am I missing something?
Find it? Yeah, I don't see it.
It's got to be like the website putting it down somewhere weird. Look through each team.
I see 104 Bay Area. DK Metcalf, it has the 102.
I see the 101.
Yeah, I see the 101 as well. 103, Miami Dolphins. Oh, we said 102, sorry. Stupid.
Who the fudge has the 102?
102. DK. DK has the 102, sorry.
Oh, I'm losing my brain here. Okay.
So,
he actually might skip tight end.
He actually might skip tight end because he has Trey McBride, David Njoku, Dalton Schultz there. I mean, but in a tight end premium, do you get 2 tight ends who gets 2 full points and just says F the wide receiver position with, I mean, you can't really do it. He has DJ Moore and Tank Dell. Who else does he have?
He might. I mean, I think it's time to go to the whiteboard here. It's time to pull out the whiteboard. Let's talk about scenario 1. And in scenario 1, Badaki, Brock Bowers is available. So let's talk through what that would look like for the rest of our picks. And then we'll do scenario 2 in which Bowers is off the board. I don't think I want to force like a Sanders with yeah, I mean, because you have the 211, Sanders is gone. So scenario 1, Brock Bowers is available. Okay. Scenario 1 leaves us at the 105 with my best player available, I believe, being Brian Thomas. Who would be your best player available at the 105?
Yeah, that'd be Brian Thomas as well.
So Brian Thomas or Troy Franklin.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, there is a scenario here where... No, those will be the best players available. They will. And obviously, look, like if a Dunze's here, it's a no-brainer, but he's probably not going to be. And that the 211, thank God it's a good wide receiver class because you need to add someone here. Is that a Jermaine Burton? Is that a McMillan, who y'all know I love? A lot of people don't. Does Corley fall here? Coleman? Polk? Leggett? Because we have got to add to this wide receiver room. I don't like building teams this way, where my number 1 wide receiver is probably the wide receiver 4 on most people's teams. So we need to add to that room. But if this draft goes the way that we want it to, now we have Bowers at tight end. We have Brian Thomas as our 1, which is questionable. Then McMillan or, you know, Polk, Coleman, Corley, Burton as our 2. Then we got Kupp, Dobbs. It feels better, is what I'm trying to say.
It does feel better.
And by the way, those same names are the names you're looking at the 301. Wide receiver again. Hit it again. Remember, Puka was a 4th-round pick last year. Dell was a 4th-round pick last year. All the 3rd round, you're hitting on any of these wide receivers that fall. I would even, like, you know, down here, talk about, like, your Javon Bakers, your Jacob Coings, your Slick Rickies.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is all if Brock Bowers is available, remember. And you kind of, it feels like if Brock Bowers is available, you let the draft come to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is basically the best bet here.
How about if Bowers is gone?
Well, I have a couple.
Let's play that out.
Thought processes there.
Go ahead.
Already.
What are we thinking? I think the 103 is obvious, but
well, the 103 is obvious. If Brock Bowers is gone, then I'll take Rome.
Yes, I agree.
But then, can I trade my 105 to get a wide receiver, or it's just tough in
Yeah,
one
like this is a
quarterback.
team where I would want Waddle.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I'm even thinking about pivoting off these running backs. I'll be honest with you, because
Chan
it
as the main pivot, I assume the
a
most
chance,
valuable
yeah,
name. I think
and
you'd have
that
to.
can. I don't, and then right once again, star five wide receivers that can go back into the same conversation we've been having all day. DJ Moore, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Rasheed Rice. Can I get those guys and a little bit more potentially in return, depending on who that player is?
So start
You
9,
throw
right?
it is start nine.
Okay,
You
sorry.
throw Jalen Waddle in there. You throw Michael Pittman in there as well. To trade away Devon and just to get some depth. What if you get?
I like a Pittman deal. I think you could maybe get Rice in a second.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going now. How high is that second? Because the team that has Rice is team 8, Konami. I think I'm saying that right.
Konami, yeah.
He has Rasheed Rice in the 201.
That would be awesome. I would even
That
take Rasheed in the 205 though.
okay. I think that is, and that's then at the 201. If Trey Benson gets the draft capital, if Jonathan Burks gets the draft capital, if not even then, you still need another wide receiver. That puts you into the Lama Conkleys, the Keon Colemans. That puts you in a whole different tier of wide receivers as well
Yeah.
that you can still build around, which is really exciting. And
Go ahead.
yeah. No, I'm just thinking, and like, yeah, you don't have Devon, but at least you have James and Kendre Miller, who you can still hope and build around. Maybe Nick Chubb does come back and he plays,
Yeah.
hypothetically. Um,
I would
there are
also do that
definitely-
pivot for Zay, by the way. I'd pivot to Zay in the 201. It'd have to be the 201 if I did that pivot. Rice in the 201 or the 205, or Zay in the 201 has to be the 201. I like that. I was trying to find like teams that are really bad at running back, but I don't know that I like DK as a pivot with Team 9.
Yeah, I don't
I
love
don't
it
know
either.
that I really love that pivot.
There's
Let's
no
try
one
and
there I would
find
want to
other
pivot.
teams that are running back needy. I guess you could definitely say Team 5. How do you feel about a Tank Dell pivot? Give me Dell in the 111.
Yep, I'll be perfect with that. Give me Tank and the 111. And that still puts you in that category of getting a wide receiver at the end of the first. We've seen the Troy Franklins go at the end of the first. We've seen the Xavier Worthies go at the end of the first there, which is really exciting. And Devon is a heavy hitter, Nate.
Yes.
Devon is not like he's not just a random guy. He's like a top 10, top 6 running back in the community currently. So you're gonna get a significant amount back as well.
I would add on to that. Devon is a player I want to build around, but I'm just recognizing where this team is and saying we got to use this asset to put us in a better spot.
I have a better team. Team 3.
Team
Party
3.
on.
Okay.
Aaron Jones, James Conner. He has
This is
CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Nico Collins. I doubt you can get CD, AJ Brown. I would say if you get
Ayuk,
those
though.
top 4. Yeah, Ayuk or Nico Collins, if you get any of those top 4 some way, somehow, I'm willing to do that to just solidify this wide receiver room.
I'd almost ask for like Collins, the 212, and their 25 second. It would be my first starting option. Because the reality is this team is not going to improve their running back room through the draft. But I'm also thinking about this team from my perspective. If I own this team, I'd probably be looking at Aaron Jones, James Conner, Zamir White, Raheem Mostert, and I probably got all those. This is how I would have drafted. And I would have purposely targeted those running backs, built around my wide receivers, and said, these are vets, that's fine. I'll take them late. They'll start for me this year. Do you know what I mean? So this guy might be a little bit more difficult to trade with, but of course it's worth reaching out. But
with all that being said, we didn't address the tight end position. If Brock Bowers, like all that works 100% if Brock Bowers is there and you can pivot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in a perfect world, you get the 103 and Brock Bowers is there, and then you sell Devon, and then you draft Rome or Brian Thomas at the 105, if I'm not mistaken, that you have.
Well, yeah,
And then
you could Brian Thomas or.
I think I'm still selling Devon though.
Yeah. Either way, we're still selling Devon. Doesn't matter.
That instantly changes your team regardless.
You need way more help at wide receiver.
Yeah, so I think that will be the move there. So sell Devon, hope that Brock Bowers is there, and if that does happen, you draft Brock Bowers, you draft the Roma Dunze or the Brian Thomas, and then you move from there. But now, I think we also need to give him the thought process of if Brock Bowers isn't there, and you have Pat Fryermuth, which is not terrible.
No, can I throw a like smash glass scenario here?
Yeah, I'm listening.
That is, you sell Achane, you get another good wide receiver room, but James Cook goes down with an injury in the season, and then all of a sudden you have no starting running backs that you feel good about. Maybe a Dunze's not performing straight away. I think the break glass scenario is to hit the reset button on this. And I'm not saying that you have to, but like if I can get an absolute haul for Josh Allen, look. Don't hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying do these moves right now. I'm saying if you're in the season and your team is not competing and you have some injuries, I would not be opposed to like hitting the reset button, sending Josh Allen away, Cooper Kupp, kind of tearing this thing down because I don't know. I am not in love with where we currently have it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that. That is the last, again, that is like last thing you think about with this team. Let's try and build the moves that we made and put ourselves in a better position.
Yeah, and look, you hope that Cooper Kupp, plays a significant role. Maybe you get some sort of draft capital, how you can pivot off of him. Maybe Roma Dunze plays it. Maybe Quentin Johnson's the guy I hope he could be.
Man, that premium and having Pat as our tight end one is tough.
Look, the only way I can think, and I think he's one of my favorite buys. I brought him in a video. Cole Kmet. He's in Team 1. Team 1 has TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews, and Cole Kmet. He's never going to start him. What can I send to acquire Cole Kmet in a full point premium who led the team last year in targets and who was second behind DJ Moore this year? And he's just going to get an upgrade at quarterback, or he's going to get Justin Fields or stick with Justin Fields. That is probably the best tight end that I believe you can potentially get.
I like that. The issue is we don't really have like a natural pick to send that makes sense. It's like you're definitely not sending the 105 for those names. But the next pick is a 211, and Kmet's probably more valuable than the 211 in this format. But definitely try it. Try and send the 211. See if that gets your foot in the door. Your Cole Kmet, that's your tight end buy this offseason. Mine is Michael Mayer. I'd send that offer for him. Don't think he gets accepted, and also he means more to this team than Cole Kmet means to that team that you brought up. So
yeah, I would agree.
Does anyone own Davis Allen in this league? If not, jump on that ASAP. Does someone?
West Michigan.
Who? What number is that? Oh, 7.
7.
Hey man, what sort of picks have you got? Have you got any like? I would send the 512 for Davis Allen. See if that gets your foot in the door. For a lot of people, this is a guy that's just on their waiver wire in most leagues. Your format is different, but send the 512 for Davis Allen. See if that even gets your foot in the door or not. It's his tight end, his last tight end on his roster right now. Because I love getting as much Davis Allen as I can get right now for free on most waiver wires. Your format is different. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful. It's probably not the most positive, but it is honest.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm just trying to think. I wish that 211 was in the middle of that second or early second. I think that's what makes it difficult because you have two top high picks, and then it just falls off completely. But at the same time, it is a one quarterback. So, like, all those good players will potentially be gone by then, which it feels like it will be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we appreciate you. Make sure you use your fantasy hotline. Joe, I'm pretty sure you'll probably watch this back later.
Yes.
But we appreciate you. Hopefully that is helpful. Once again, just let us know.
That's it for today, guys. We appreciate y'all big time. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the combine.